The difference between oversharing and compulsively trying to relate to others. Hey friends, have you ever found yourself spilling your whole life story to someone you just met? Or maybe you jump into conversations with personal experiences, trying to show someone you understand you're going through something similar, and only realize later, wow, did I just overshare? Today, we're exploring the difference between oversharing and compulsively trying to relate to others. And here's a thought. Could info dumping be your love language? Could it be how you try to connect? But sometimes you're oversharing, which is a little bit different. Let's dive into it. First, let's talk about love languages. You may have heard them before. They were introduced by Dr. Gary Chapman and explain different ways we give and receive love. There are 5 love languages: words, affirmation, expressing love through compliments and kind words, acts of service, showing love by doing things for others, receiving gifts, feeling love through gifts and gestures, quality time, valuing undivided attention and meaningful time, personal touch, connecting through hugs and handshakes and closeness. Love languages help us understand how we naturally express care for others. And here's where it gets interesting. What if your way of connecting is through sharing deeply and emotionally, and even info dumping and sharing information has been something that's explored as an autistic love language? That could be your version of words and affirmation or quality time. But when does it cross into oversharing and sort of get us in trouble? Oversharing happens when we disclose personal details that might be too much too soon in an attempt to connect or feel heard. This could make others feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed, especially if there's not yet a deep level of trust. Compulsively trying to relate when we hear someone else's story or immediately jump in with our own, hoping to show empathy and connection, it's that, oh, me too reflex that ADHD people often have. We try to promote that we understand and we have had a similar experience. Both come from a good place, wanting connection, but sometimes they have the opposite effect, making people feel unheard or pushed away. Why do we overshare? For many neurodivergent people, especially those with ADHD, autism, or anxiety, oversharing isn't just a habit, it's a way of connecting. If you've ever felt like the rules of social interaction are hard to decode, oversharing can feel like a shortcut to intimacy. Instead of small talk, we go to deep, fast, big talk. Instead of waiting for a relationship to develop over time, we give our full selves up front, hoping others will do the same. For some, sharing personal stories help process emotion and build trust. For others, it's a way to bridge the gap between a traditional conversation that feels unnatural and exhausting to big talk, which we prefer. But how do we find balance? Check the trust level. Before sharing, ask yourself, do I trust this person with this information? Have we built enough of a foundation for this level of sharing? Remember, trust is track record, as my friend Melanie Gorman likes to say. And since trust is track record, I want to know and look at what's my track record with this person. Do I know that I can trust them? Pause before relating. Instead of immediately reflecting, a simple "that sounds tough" or "I can see why that's important" can go a long way. This is easier said than done, which is to pay attention to body language and engagement. Is the person leaning in, asking follow-up questions, or are they looking away and fidgeting? The other thing is to mark or flag that sharing. Sometimes it's important to say, you've shared something deeply personal with me, and I am so glad to be there for you, and I'm so sorry that's going on. I'm gonna share a story and it's gonna seem like it's out of nowhere, but I'm gonna come back around again because with ADHD, we like to share stuff and come back, and it's really meant to relate to you, not be a story about me. If you can sort of flag those things and pivot and show people why you're communicating, it goes a long way. I've been doing this for a couple of years now with people on all different things. Info dumping, I have a bunch of videos about, and this, and it's really important to think about, because if I tell you why I'm sharing and why I'm telling you a story to relate and how it's my love language, and you can come up with some fast phrases, right? Now the person doesn't think, they're not even listening to me. I told them my mother died and they're not even listening to me. They know why you're doing it, and you're able to be there for them in a way that's different from just sharing your own stuff. Find other outlets for deep sharing as well. If you process emotions best through storytelling, consider journaling, therapy, trusted friend for these deep dives. Not every conversation has to be personal, but I wanted to talk about this topic because I think there is something about sharing being a love language and having to balance that oversharing and also having things come out of the blue for the person who's having a hard time and we're trying to relate to. At the end of the day, oversharing and trying to relate can come from the same place, a desire for meaningful human connection. If you recognize yourself in this video, don't be hard on yourself. Instead, think of refining this skill. Your ability to connect deeply is a strength. It takes a little practice on balancing sharing and listening, especially with our neurodivergent brains, so that your connection is mutual and fulfilling. Please leave me a comment below, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, bye friends.